And here we go. First exercise of the 14-minute workout, the hollow body position. Alright, a few cues here. Legs are pressed together, quads are engaged, pelvis is tilted posteriorly. Alright, which means my back is flat, my abs are engaged, my glutes, my hamstrings are tilting my pelvis there. Arms are overhead, which is a sort of a harder variation. To make this easier, you would bring your knees closer into your chest and keep your arms down by your side. But as you progress, you find the one variation may be getting easier. Go ahead and start raising those arms and extending those legs. Alright. Each of these exercises I'm going to do for about 1 minute, give or take. Got the timer on the right there. Here we go, number 2 already, doing the arch. This is the V arch, which is one of the easier variations of this exercise. Again, legs are pressed together, hamstrings are engaged now, glutes are engaged. I am extending my thoracic spine, squeezing my shoulder blades together and back. And I'm also rotating my humerus, my arms, externally. As you see, my palms are facing out. Now I think in a minute, I'm going to try to switch into a harder variation. Yeah, there it is, arms overhead. And honestly, my thoracic spine is not that strong, so in a minute here, yeah, I'm like, fuck it. I go back to the more of a T arch. It's almost like a blend between the T and the V variations. The T would be the second level, V is the first level. And then the Y overhead would be the next level. Here immediately, going into plank. And all these cues for these exercises are pretty similar as far as the lower body goes. I am still posteriorly tilting my pelvis. Okay, sucking in my abs here. My scapula is also doing pretty much the same thing as before, except for the plank, of course. I am slightly protracted, but I'm still depressing the scapula, aka keeping my shoulders down, using my latissimus dorsi. Alright, there I go, try to extend my spine a little, or lengthen my spine rather. Get my neck a little more forward, making it a little bit harder. And again, all these are full body exercises, so try to engage as much muscle as you can. You can see the, by my stupid face, like the strain I'm having. Alright, here we go, next one, side plank. Starting on the left side. Alright, again, same thing. Okay, pelvis is tilted posteriorly as opposed to anteriorly. This will make sure that your back remains rather neutral, and that you're not extending or, cramping up your lumbar spine, which can be pretty painful. So you want to really have those abs engaged, the glutes, the hamstrings. And the adductors are obviously squeezing the legs together, which is a nice addition to this movement. Scapula, again, is retracted and depressed, aka shoulders are rolled back together and down. And even my triceps of my arm that isn't on the ground are engaged here. I'm trying to hike my hip up, my right hip there, as high as I can, using my obliques. Here we go, switching other side, same thing. You can see from the front, especially when I exhale, my abs are really straining here. And I look up sometimes to kind of keep a better balance, but I should really have my focus straight ahead. And I think I realized that mistake in a few seconds and I fixed that. Again, really pushing into the floor and activating as much muscle as you can, which is the whole point of this. There I go, fixing my gaze. Straight forward, keeping everything balanced, in line. Even my neck, I try to have some deep flexion in my neck to make sure My spine is long. I'm not like, you know, poking my shin forward or anything. And here we go. Next one. This is kind of a, what am I doing here? I forgot. Oh yeah. This is a long version of the Glute-Ham bridge. So my legs are almost straight. They're slightly bent so I can engage my hamstrings better. My heels are digging into the ground. And yeah, same stuff here. My back, my scapula is retracted, depressed, aka the shoulders are rolled back. The pelvis is again tilted posteriorly. As you can plainly see, jeez. I should have rethought my wardrobe here. That's okay. We're all adults here, right? On the internet. Whatever. Alright, here we go. That's over. Straight into a bent leg Glute-Ham raise. Again, shoulders going to roll back, and this time I'm going to kind of interlace my fingers, really contract my triceps and everything in my back, and try to just keep the shoulders rolled back and extend through the thoracic spine rather than the lumbar spine, which should be kept neutral because my glutes, my hamstrings, my abs are working to keep my pelvis essentially thrusted forward rather than back. Okay, which is going to protect my back here and make sure I'm contracting all the right things here. As you can also see from like the vein in my bicep, my arms are again rotated externally. Okay, so you want to try to get those biceps pointed out to the sides as much as you can. Here I'm finishing that up, straight into the next one, which is an L-sit. Okay, with this one, my shoulders, as you can see, are protracted a little bit forward, which you kind of have to do unless you're just super strong, which I'm not that great at this one yet. But the most important thing here is that my scapula is depressed, so I'm pushing down through the back, through the arms, really engaging the triceps, as you can see here. Legs again squeezed together, quadriceps very, very contracted here. My abs are starting to fail. Woo! Yeah, I can see the effort in my face. There go, the heels are touching the floor. I'm still trying, which is the whole point. There, I kind of lose myself. I'm not that great at L-sits yet, but I'm getting there. That was only about 40 seconds, but hopefully I can do about a full minute in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare for the next one, which is a reverse plank. Alright, so this is a supinated body position rather than a prone position, which should be a regular plank. And my elbows are locked out, as you can see. Some might look at this and be like, wow, your arms are hyperextended, but they're not. I mean, I just have pretty flexible elbows. Just naturally, I guess. I guess I'm a genetic weirdo when it comes to elbows. But my triceps are engaged. My biceps are engaged. Everything in my arms, my back, my shoulders rolled back yet again. Pelvis tilted posteriorly again. Glutes and hamstrings really digging into the ground with the heels in this one. And I'm just trying to squeeze my shoulder blades together as much as I can to really press into the ground behind me with my palms, with my heels. Trying to breathe as best as I can without, messing up my alignment there. Alright, next one. This is probably the easiest one, but one of the hardest as far as mobility goes. And this is basically like a yoga movement, a downward dog. Here my quadriceps are getting engaged, my hip flexors, my abs are sucked in. And you don't want to shrug your shoulders up on this one. You want to keep your shoulders packed. Okay, so once again, they're pretty much rolled back, depressed scapula. And I'm really trying to open up through the thoracic spine here, pushing my chest forward, getting a little better as the time ends. There I go. So if I was more flexible, my arms would be a little bit, maybe like 10 or 15 degrees. How should I say? I guess raised or whatever, close to my ears. There we go. Step into a lunge. This is the next one. This is all going to be pretty leg intensive. I get to where I'm about an inch off the ground, give or take, with that back knee. I'm digging in with my front leg, trying to use that front leg mostly. Excuse me. I keep my hands in a prayer kind of position just because I don't want them hanging and, being lazy. And I'm kind of, again, keeping my shoulders depressed a little bit, aka lowered with my lats and all that, keeping my core engaged, really digging into the ground with that front foot, trying to focus on the front leg mostly. Though the back leg, the foot of the back leg is definitely engaged. As you can see, my arch is getting stretched there. Pretty good active stretch for the arch. And the hip flexor of that back leg. This might be one of the hardest postures, for me anyway. Alright, now other side. Same thing. Now honestly, I step back too much on this one. And you'll see in a few seconds that I kind of have to adjust the posture of my upper body to compensate. There should be a straight line between the crown of your head and the back knee. And right now there's a bit of an arch there, and I fix that in a minute by leaning forward slowly. Because my balance is off. There it is. Fixing the balance there. The knee of the front leg, some people say it should be above the heel of the front foot. I disagree. It should be above the arch of that front foot. Now there I go. Leaning a bit more, pushing that knee above my arch a bit more to get more on that front leg. Woo! Alright, next one. Another hard one, but not as painful for some reason as the lunges. This is kind of like a horse stance or a deep sumo squat hold. As you can see, my toes are pointed out to the sides. I'm squatting down to about 90 degrees. Hinging from the hips a little bit, leaning forward. Hands in the prayer just to, get them out of the way and so I can focus on my legs. Excuse me. Core still engaged here, abs sucked in, all that good stuff. Trying to engage my lats, my back to depress my scapula. Yeah, really shaking on this one. It's the very end, so woo, there goes my glutes cramping a little bit. But I'm okay. Alright, last one. Which is a nice release after all that leg stuff. It's going to be a tabletop position, or a bent leg reverse plank. So as you can see, my arms are essentially the same as the straight leg reverse plank, but a little more leg involvement and drive from the legs there with the bent position. And again, my shoulders are rolled back. Though it looks like they're not as rolled back as they should be in this position. I guess I was tired here. And once again, pelvis is posteriorly tilted. There I go, kind of pushing it up some more. Abs are sucked in. Really driving. All this should be near maximal effort. Okay, the whole point of isometrics is you want to engage as much muscle as possible, as intensely as possible. And that's pretty much it, folks. Here I'm just kind of releasing my back, hugging my legs to my chest. This is a good stretch for the back here. I'm going to roll around side to side in a minute to kind of massage my spinal erector muscles that may get a little strained from all this effort. And then I'll just lay down and meditate and try to relax myself. And this is one option for laying down. But a better option is, I'll show in a minute, I'll grab a chair or something. Here we go. And I will put my legs onto the chair. I must be pretty tired here. I'm moving really slow. There I go. So knees are above the hips now, legs about 90 degrees. And this is a great way to gently decompress the back and just relax and breathe after all that effort. And it is very hard. I mean, all that, it's 14 minutes, which doesn't seem like much, but if you're trying as hard as you can the whole time, it can be hell. I mean, it feels great afterward, but it can be pretty much hellish, especially those last few minutes. And my heart rate gets to about 180 beats per minute. I would say around maybe the 3-minute or 4-minute mark. And it stays there pretty much the entire time after that. So if your heart isn't beating quickly, if you're not sweating, if you're not straining, try a little harder if you can. Because again, this is isometric training. It should be building the most intense contractions of the muscles as possible. Okay. And that's pretty much it, folks. You know, from here you can lay down as much as you want to, you know, to rest and decrease your heart rate and just, you know, meditate, chill out. I like to go on a walk after all this and kind of, you know, shake it all off. Because, I mean, you've got a lot of blood in your muscles right now, and you're going to get stiff if you don't, you know, move around after all this. And notice when you walk how you feel, and, you know, you'll feel totally different, hopefully better. You should feel better. And you'll feel you might be walking more, I don't know, more efficiently than you usually walk. There I am doing like a child's pose, another option for meditation and relaxation after all this. So yeah, give it a try. Let me know what you think. I've been doing this lately, about 3 days a week. Typically in the morning. I like to do it fasted because otherwise I get nauseous. Especially doing like the arch position where I'm pretty much on my stomach. You know, you don't want like a full belly of food there, you're gonna throw up everything. Anyway, give that a shot. Let me know how it goes. Peace.